Hi, this is Tom. It's June 2nd. I'm in Holly Springs, North Carolina, where I've been all week. I've been very careful this week to make sure that I follow my own Query Theory diet advice and question everything that I eat and drink to make sure that my weight is going in the right direction. If you remember, last week I actually gained a little bit. My goal this week was to get back on track. So let's go weigh myself, see how I did, and then let's talk about that U.S. News and World Diet Report. Alexa, what day is it?
Today is Saturday, June 2nd.
I'm going to put this week's weight in, 179.4. Take a look at the results. I've now officially gone from 180 into the 170s, so that was one of my goals. I've also went more than 20 pounds of weight loss, so that's another goal made. And this one is still not there. I wanted to be at 179 at this point. I'm at 179.4, so I'm 0.4 pounds above what I want to be. But last week I was 0.6 pounds above where I wanted to be, so everything's going in the right direction. So how did I turn this around this week? Well, I followed my own advice and I questioned everything that I ate. I did not have one single meal that I didn't ask myself, is what I'm going to eat going to help me or hurt me? And if it was going to hurt me, I definitely cut back on what I was eating. I didn't have any alcohol this week, which is good. And I did something what I call the 0-calorie meal. Now, what is the 0-calorie meal? Every day this week, I walked from my home to McDonald's. And at McDonald's, I would get a unsweet tea, which is my version of caffeine that I need in the morning. And I would walk 2 miles to get to McDonald's, and I would walk 2 miles to get back home. A total of 4 miles. From my previous treadmill exercise, I know that for every mile that I walk, I pretty much burn 100 calories. So overall, I burned 400 calories walking back and forth to McDonald's. And I did this every day this week, starting last Sunday. Now, what I tell myself in my head is that this is extra calories that I normally don't burn. As you look at the previous weeks, you can see that I normally do not walk this amount. So this week I did, and just as a game I play, I say I want one meal of that day to have less calories than what I walked. So if I had a breakfast of 400 calories, I burned 400 calories of walking, and it's almost like that breakfast didn't have any calories at all if I choose to think about it that way. And that is how I choose to think about it that way. As you know, I'm not a real big fan of exercise for losing weight. I am a big fan for keeping in health and improving your heart and all that kind of good stuff, but it's really hard to use exercise to lose weight. But this way, I look at it as free calories because I burned 400 calories and my breakfast was 400 calories or less. Now next week I'm going to be in Raleigh, so I won't be traveling, but I will be working, which means I will have after work activities. Then I'm going to go to Columbus, Ohio, and then I'm going to go to Detroit. So I'm going to have 3 weeks in a row that I won't be able to eat every meal at home. But I'm really going to try to keep this trend going, even though I'm going to be on the road here and here, and get this back so this number here is as close to 0 or positive as possible. We're going to look at how U.S. World and News Review rated diets, but I just want to say that if I were to come up with something similar, how would I rate the diets based on what I think is important versus what that magazine thought was important? And by the way, today is Monday. I didn't get to do everything over the weekend, just so you know. But the introduction video and the weight was done on Saturday as usual. So if I were rating diets to lose weight, this has nothing to do with nutrition, but just simply to lose weight, this is what I would think is important. I would give points to the diet if the focus was on long-term weight loss. And if you ask yourself, can I start this today and do it for the rest of my life? If the answer is yes, then definitely it would get points. No changes to your routine once you start. Day one is the same as every day that follows until the day you're in your grave. This is really, really important, is that you don't want to be starting a diet that you know is only good for a short period and then you have to change it again. It's just very hard to keep changing what you're doing, so just start on a path and keep on going. Now, you might need to tweak it as time goes by, but nothing major once day one starts. And it has to address your thinking on why you overeat or why you choose the wrong foods. If it's just simply, here's recipes, use it and you will lose weight, or here's prepackaged foods, eat these and you'll lose weight. Yeah, they will all work, but more than likely they will all fail because eventually you don't get to the root of the problem, which is why you overeat to begin with. And there shouldn't be any restrictions on which foods you eat. Only eat this, avoid those. As soon as you start dictating what to eat or what not to eat, this could possibly exclude those with food allergies, medical conditions, a lifetime of habits, religious beliefs, environmental beliefs, and by that I mean whether you eat, let's say, animals or not, or vegan or vegetarian. If a diet has restrictions on it, there's a good chance that a lot of people wouldn't be able to use it. And this is pretty much the opposite of what is above. Is there a reoccurring cost involved? So yeah, I have no problems with buying a diet book or video series or something like that, but is there a monthly or weekly or yearly cost of being on that diet? If there is, you really have to ask yourself, am I willing to fork out this money every month or every year, and can I do this the rest of my life? Does it include prepackaged meals? Prepackaged meals could be a game changer for a lot of people, including myself. Yeah, they might work, but could I eat prepackaged meals for the rest of my life? There's no way I could. Now, maybe you could, but if I'm rating diets, I would say there's a good chance of failure in the long term if they're all prepackaged meals. And is there an emphasis on rapid weight loss over a short period of time? I think a lot of people might disagree with this one, but for me, if you're trying to lose a lot of weight over a short period of time to get into a wedding dress or whatever, I mean, I guess that's okay, but don't expect it to be a lifetime of weight loss. It's just doomed for failure as far as gaining your weight back. And is there too much exercise? Again, people would feel free to disagree with me, but overall, there's a lot of people that say, this is the year I'm going to start to exercise, and then it just doesn't happen. And there's some people that can do that, but can you do it the rest of your life? Or what if you say, yes, I can do it the rest of your life, and you have an accident or something like that, or some kind of medical condition appears, and you can no longer do the exercise you were planning on doing. Maintaining a weight because of what you're eating versus how much you're exercising, and all of a sudden that exercise goes away for whatever reason, that's a recipe for disaster. And then, is there an overabundance of recipes, rules of what to eat, not what to eat, when to eat? Do you have to look at various nutritional forms or convert to points or something that's just too complicated? If something is too complicated or too different from what you normally do, it's probably going to fail. And the other one is again, I can see how people might disagree with this, but does it require external motivation? Coaches, trainers, groups, whatever. Now, I've got no problem with a diet or an exercise program having a coach or trainer or group sessions, but as long as their goal is not to get through the end of the session, but to have you graduate so you don't need to come back anymore, then that would be okay. But from what I see, a lot of these is just to get to the end of the session and for support, but not really something that helps you think differently. So that would depend on exactly what the external motivation is. So with that in mind, let's go back to U.S. News and World Report and take a look at how I think they would rate the Query Theory diet before I look at Weight Watchers, which is what the one I'm going to do today is. So when I go to expert reviews, this will just show me what they're looking for. So there's an overall rating. We'll just skip that. So is it a good diet for diabetes? Well, if you have a diet that says eat this and avoid that, then whether it's good for diabetes or not is depending on what it recommends. The Query Theory diet, since I don't recommend any food or say to avoid any food, there's a good chance that it could be good for diabetes if the person trying to lose weight knows what they need to do or need to avoid for diabetes. So in my opinion, my diet doesn't address diabetes. It just simply allows you to eat whatever a diabetic patient would want. Is it easy to follow? I think the Query Theory diet is extremely easy to follow. All it requires is you to keep eating what you have been eating, have no new recipes or avoiding a certain food or eating only types of food. It's all based on just eating what you're eating, but less of it. And so, yeah, I think it's an easy diet to follow. Best heart healthy diet, again, same thing as with diabetes. If a diet doesn't recommend or say to avoid different foods, then it's just up to the person to say, okay, I'm going to eat less of stuff that I think that is also heart healthy, or I'm going to eat less of what I think is going to control my diabetes. So no problem there. Long-term weight loss, I would rate the Query Theory diet 5 out of 5 on that one. That's their whole goal, is long-term weight loss. Nutrition, I say nothing about nutrition. Why? Because I'm not sure what nutrition is good and which one is bad. All you have to do is take a look at the history, any type of food, and you can pretty much say, oh, it's good for you. And then later on, oh, it's bad for you. And then later on, oh, it's good for you. And what people think is good nutrition today may not be good nutrition tomorrow. It's just, you can believe what you want to believe, and I believe in the placebo effect, and you think a food is going to be good for you, it'll probably be good for you. If you think a food is going to be bad for you, it'll probably be bad for you. And it changes individually. So when someone says, hey, this diet has good nutrition, well, based on individual, for instance, let's say someone came out with the shrimp diet, and shrimp is decided it's going to be the food of the week that's considered a superfood. Well, I could eat shrimp all day long, but my brother, who's allergic to shrimp, would not do so well on it. So whatever the superfood of the week is, you can eat it if you want on the Query Theory diet or not. Safety, once again, I don't recommend one thing or the other. So it's up to the individual to decide what they think is safe or not. And finally, short-term weight loss. Mine would rate 0 out of 5 stars. All right. So let's look at the overview of the Weight Watchers diet and see how it ranks. So they do say losing weight while living healthier. So they do throw in the healthy part as well. And they think 2 pounds weekly, which is pretty aggressive in my opinion, but okay. And there's more to weight loss than counting calories. You want to make it a healthier choice as well. And behavior changes. So Weight Watchers, I'm not sure how many programs they've had over the years, but Weight Watchers have been around for a long time. It seems like every couple of years they keep coming out with, oh, we've got a new program. And so this is their latest one, 2015, and they call it the Smart Points. And basically what they do is they rate every type of food by these Smart Points. And overall, the lower the calories and the higher density the food is, the lower the points. And the whole idea is to eat no more than the points you're allowed. And they do have wayward thinking advice. Support is a big component. You can choose to do it online only, or you can attend Weight Watchers meeting. And they have 30-minute get-togethers. I have no idea what is said or done in there. Hopefully they're working on making it so you don't have to come back. But I don't know. Just being a skeptic, thinking that they are paying for this privilege, that they want you coming back. I could be wrong though, but we'll just say. So yeah, so there is a cost for the meetings and the digital tools and the personal coaching. So you can get everything for about $70 a month. And will you lose weight? And this is something I just want to talk. So short-term weight loss is a reasonable goal. Researchers compared the effectiveness of 4 commercial weight loss programs: the Atkins, Weight Watchers, Slim Fast, and Eat Yourself Slim. After 4 weeks, the Weight Watchers participants were down about 6 pounds, and for Atkins, they were down 10 pounds. And then after that first month of the 6-month study, dieters continued to lose weight with no significant difference in weight loss. So here's what I just want to point out, just real quick, is if I go over here to how they rated short term, got 4 out of 5 stars for short term weight loss. Now I want to compare that to the Atkins diet, so let me go there. So here I'm at the Atkins diet, where we just learned that a study was done and people lost more weight short term with the Atkins diet than the other 3 they compared it against, and one of those being the Weight Watchers diet. And they scored the Weight Watchers diet, and by they I mean these experts, rated at 4 out of 5 stars. So obviously the Atkins diet is going to be at least 4 stars, or maybe even 5, or something more than 4, because it's definitely better than the Weight Watchers diet. So let's just see how it did. Short-term weight loss, 3.7. So it's, once again, so U.S. News and World Report, explain to me why a diet that is definitely better for short-term weight loss is scored lower than one that's not as good. I just don't get how these people, they just don't seem to look at their own advice. These experts, I just have to wonder who they are and what they're looking at. The more I look at this site, the more I think these experts just have their own preconceived notions of what is good for you and what is not good for you, even if evidence points the other way around. So, I don't know. So let's look at this. I have just this little chart here. I'm going to say Weight Watchers. Is there a yes or is there a no for these different questions? So does Weight Watchers, does it restrict the food you love? No, it doesn't. That's good. They say you can eat anything you want, basically. It's just that if they determine that a food is not good for you and it's one that you love, they just encourage you to eat less of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And does it promote a specific type of food? No, it doesn't do that either. So I'm all good with that. Now, is there a reoccurring cost? Yes, there is. And does it address your wayward thinking about food behavior? Weight Watchers is a business. Do never be fooled by that. They get their income by people spending money. So it's not just buying a book or watching a video on how to do Weight Watchers. It's a whole program that is geared to have a reoccurring cost. And so even though they seem to have some good stuff when I look on the webpage, the back of my mind, I have to wonder, are they really trying to get you independent, or are they really encouraging you to come back month after month? I don't know the answer to that, but there's definitely a reoccurring thought. And does it address your wayward thinking about food? See, they do have, the online stuff, and they do have group meetings, and I'm hoping that it's more than just encouragement. So this one I just don't know the answer to, so I'm just going to say yes and no. If they're just giving encouragement or asking you to share stories, but they're doing nothing to really fix the problem, then that's a problem. And can it be done for your rest of your life? This one is definitely going to have to be done by, I don't care if you're expert or you're know nothing. This is completely individualized question here. No one can answer this question for you. Only you can. Can you do it for the rest of your life? And my answer for that would be no. And the reason that is mainly this reoccurring cost. There is just no way I would pay money to tell me how to eat. This is definitely, a first world problem. I mean, geez. I'm spending money so that people can tell me how not to overeat. A lot of places in the world, that's, just inconceivable that you have to pay money to people to tell you how much not to eat. A lot of the world just has too little to eat. It's just, yeah. Again, this is just me. But if there's a reoccurring cost for advice month after month after month, in this case of the Weight Watchers, I would say it's not the diet for you. Take that money you would spend for Weight Watchers and give it to a third world country so that they have food to eat. That's just my personal opinion. So when I look at this, is it a diet for me? And again, that's when a U.S. News and World Report, what they recommend is based on those experts, and they have no clue what the individual restrictions might be for the people reading it. And you have to know what that is. So no one can say if it's good or not other than yourself. And for me, I would say no. And it just so happens this weekend I got a story about Weight Watchers without even trying. So my wife and I were at the farmer's market downtown, and there was a guy there, Bill, and Bill has a company that does food delivery. And I was just going up to see exactly what he does and what kind of meals that they have. And he was talking to some women there, and the woman says, "Do you cater to specific diets?" And Bill said, "Yes, I do cater to specific diets. Do you have one in mind?" And she said, "Yes, the keto diet." And he goes, "Yes, I can definitely cater to that one. I can cater your meal delivery to just about any diet that you want, with the exception of Weight Watchers, because I just don't have the time. It's too complicated to figure out how many points all my food has." And I said, "Oh, funny he should mention that, because that is what I'm going to talk about this weekend." And again, I don't want to put words in Bill's mouth. Maybe he didn't say that word for word, but he definitely said, sure, keto, no problem. Atkins, no problem. Vegetarian, no problem. But Weight Watchers, too complicated. Can't tell you how many points I have. So I think that should tell you. You have a guy that's a professional cook delivering meals, and Weight Watchers is too complicated for him to figure out, or it takes up too much time. That should tell you right there my opinion on Weight Watchers. So until next week, have a good one. Bye.